Just gonna show you the view here. It's a beautiful spot, let me tell you. Ocean there and the forest here. Can't go wrong. What's up everybody? It's Adam here with another video. I'm a musician on the road, showing you a few things about my van today. First off, I just wanted to say hello and welcome to a bunch of new subscribers that I got from the video I did with VanLife, aka Chrome. That was a lot of fun. I met him at a Walmart out in Quebec, and we did a little van tour, and he put my video on his channel. I'll post a link somewhere here on the screen. Anyways, I wanted to talk to you today about how to keep your van build cheap. You actually don't need a ton of fancy things, in my opinion. I've kept everything in my van rustic and simple because I don't want to blow a bunch of money on my van conversion. Like, it's cool if you want to do that, but in my mind, the whole idea behind living this way, being on the road, is to not do that. Oddly enough, a lot of the things about my van that people like the most are the cheapest things I've done. So I want to show you a few of those things just to give you an idea of what you could do to keep your costs down if you're doing this. So the first thing that everyone seems to like, oddly, is my sink. My sink is basically a salad bowl with a hole in the bottom. I'll grab one right now. So yeah, my sink is literally just one of these things with a hole right in the middle. That's all it is. And from there comes a hose. There's a little fitting I had lying around, and I put a hose onto it, and that goes into a jerry can. It's all sealed up with PL, which is construction adhesive, and I've never had a leak in it, and it seems to do the job. It's dead simple. Those little like specialty fixtures that come really mini, like sinks and stuff, are really expensive. Someone was telling me they're like well over $100 just for one of those things. My salad bowl was like 15 bucks, and I put a hole in it, and it's just dirt cheap. The other thing too, is my water system in general. I just use one of those blue containers, and I don't have a pump. Everything's just, I fill up the container and I drain out what I have, and then when I'm in need of water, I fill it up again. And it's all kept in with the bungee cord and all that stuff when I'm driving. So it's dead simple. It's one of the cheapest things I have in the van. Next is all the reused wood I have in here. A lot of it is plywood that came from a hunting camp. Well, what is a hunting camp? It's a bunch of like pre-built walls and a little door and roof that was just a tarp that somebody sold me when I was living at my cabin. It sat in storage for years. All these pre-made walls with like 2x4s and plywood on them. And I reused all the 2x4s and other stuff around my cabin. Then I had all this plywood sitting around, and then I just reused that for the van. Luckily, it was really thin plywood, so it keeps the weight down in the overall build, which is always really good. And it had some give to it. So like in my roof and stuff, everything is curved just a little bit because the van itself is curved. So it fit well when it came time to actually putting it up. The floor isn't the most beautiful thing in the world, but it's just some of that plywood as well. I never put flooring over top because, once you get in here and it's all DIY, you don't really care to. And then, all over the van is half cedar and then a half plywood all the way around. So the plywood took up a lot of the bottom part of the van that you don't really see. The stuff you don't see as well includes shelving inside my kitchen area, to hold my plates and stuff. It's just plywood from that. The other thing that people seem to really love is my door. I built a door, I actually built a wall, I should say, in between the seats and the back here. And in the middle of that wall is a door. And the door actually came from the hunt camp. It was a single piece of plywood door with a little window on it. Sadly, I didn't keep the window. It's just filled with insulation now. So I doubled up the size of the door by putting insulation and another piece of plywood on it. It works really well. The handle for the door was just a reused thing from a dock, like that you tie your boat up to. Somebody gave me that as a gift, and I put it as a door handle, so that's that now. So when it came to buying lumber, I did buy one sheet of birch plywood, and my countertop is that, and it looks good, so I'm glad I bought it. It's kind of brightens it up. It's kind of a nicer beige kind of color, And all the little trim work, which is not fancy at all, is actually badly done. In here is just me, ripping pieces of that main piece of birch plywood up. All the wood you see around, all the cedar, was from a sawmill, a local sawmill I found near my cabin, and it was considered seconds, so it wasn't their best cuts. It was the stuff that had a lot of knots in it and all this kind of thing. So I built a shelf out of it in here. I built a couple shelves out of it actually, and it lines my entire inside. It's all cedar. Yes, cedar's a bit more expensive, but I ended up using it for shelving and making sure that it went a longer way. So I was glad I bought it. It was seconds, it wasn't the prime cuts, it was from a local mill, guys on their property milling up their own cedar, so it worked out well in the end. And these days, I've kept my power system super cheap as well. So my solar has been down. I had a solar panel on my roof, which, solar panels are a couple $100s. And then all the hardware to go with it. It adds up fast. But all I've been using now is an inverter. That inverter is awesome. It charges 2 battery packs that I have, and it also charges, a USB blender, my laptop, and anything else, like little things like a razor or like a Bluetooth speaker, stuff like that. That is my power. And because I have the battery packs, it keeps my phone, my blender, and my Bluetooth speaker charged when the van's not running. It's way cheaper, it's way simpler, and it seems to be working. Now, of course, I don't have a fridge in here, that's a downside, but you learn to live without. My solar battery is still in the back, and whenever I can, I'll charge that up, and that gives me enough juice to run my fan and my lights, which I'll turn on here. So I've got what I need. That's kind of how I kept my van build really cheap, and everything else you see in here is from Value Village, aka thrift stores. My cutlery is from thrift stores. My little thing over my sink to hold, soap and stuff like that is from thrift stores. A lot of my pots and pans, they're all from thrift stores. You don't need anything fancy in here. It's just meant to be simple in my opinion. Hopefully that helped you out, gave you some ideas. I really appreciate you subscribing to my channel. I'm in Canso, Nova Scotia right now. I'm going to be coming out with a really nice tribute to this area. It's absolutely beautiful, so stay tuned for that. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you're having a great end to your summers out there in North America, and a good end to your winters if you are in the Southern Hemisphere. Anyways, thanks so much, everybody, and we'll see you soon.